Welcome to part 3 of my oil painting where I'm trying to do something different with it. So with this painting, I want to do a large central aspect. So for that, I did the large blue X in the middle, and I really want to make sure that I make that dimensional and add depth to it. So I'm doing that with adding dark blue to the edge that I want it to be kind of the shadow, and I'm adding white and kind of doing highlights to make it look more realistic, as if the light was hitting it and you can see where kind of the angle that I was trying to make it look like, kind of where that is. So I'm just focusing a lot more on changing my paintings in the sense of making it more realistic with 3D aspects and having the details to do that, but then also having just a large central aspect. I mentioned it in my other videos with this painting, but I really want to do more of this. So for my next painting, I'm going to probably have 4 or 5 of these large details and have smaller stuff around it. I was finding that my paintings were feeling and looking very similar to each other, and not that it was boring, they're still fun to do, but the whole purpose of this, because I am, and I say it in kind of every video, I don't really know what I'm doing and I'm trying to learn. So I like doing something different and pushing myself and kind of having a challenge or a goal for each of these videos. So I find that by doing that, I can take what works and take what doesn't. And each painting is just kind of a build-up or a compilation of all the things that I found worked or made my paintings look better or look cooler. And the whole goal for this is just to create something that I look at and I'm proud of, and I think it looks cool. And everything else, like, I really enjoy filming it and seeing the process. And I kind of like seeing just kind of where I, even in a few months, how kind of different my paintings look. And everything else, like when I do sell them, it's kind of funny, I started selling them accidentally. I had way too many paintings, so I put them on Facebook Marketplace and ended up selling them. So all that stuff is just bonus, but the really satisfying part of this is just kind of trying to do something, like, for example, making a shape 3D, and maybe I try to do 10 of those in a painting and only one turns out. But it's really satisfying when you start to see it work, and maybe the next painting you have half of them that turn out, or then before you know it, you're creating paintings that are 10 times better than before just because they get a little bit better each time. So doing these videos and giving myself a challenge like that, I think it has a huge benefit, and it's really satisfying to see the progress. I really like how this one is looking so far. I like the colors, and especially with the oil paint, I find it looks really vibrant and bright. The acrylic ones are really fun, and I find I can do a little bit more small details, but I find the oil paints that I use versus the acrylic, it's almost like the difference of watching a movie in just regular quality versus 4K. The colors just pop out so much more, and I've been really enjoying being able to learn how to blend and learn how to kind of work with the oil paints. It's funny too, because a lot of this stuff that used to frustrate me with the oil painting, like how it blended too easy or it didn't dry quick, is actually what I really love about it now, because it's so smooth and it doesn't dry fast. I'm able to add that kind of dimensional 3D feel that I want. It's kind of funny how quickly a painting can not necessarily turn around, but I guess go from me being not too sure how it looks to something that I'm quite proud of even before it's done. I think that the colors really worked out with this one. And it's funny because I use these same colors in almost every painting, but I truly think that doing one large detail like this X in the middle really does make a difference. Even by using the same amount of color, it just stands out so much more when there is a large kind of focal point. And it's kind of cool seeing that come to life and how it does make an impact on the painting. At this point in the painting, I'm really focusing on the smaller details that add up and make a big difference. That's something that I really started doing a lot more of since I started filming the process. It's funny, I look back at the paintings that I used to do and I finished them way too soon. It's almost like now, if I was doing those same paintings, that would be a halfway point for me. But I think a lot is because I'm filming it. I can look back at, if I do a few hours of just small details that might kind of feel boring or look boring, I look back at the start to finish and I see how different it really is. And it kind of pushes me to continue to do that. And now I really enjoy doing these smaller little details that add up. So it's kind of cool that even something just like filming the process has really changed how my paintings look. And it's helped me become a lot more patient when it comes to taking the time to do those small little things that could make a painting look completely different and kind of bring out the detail that I really want. I find also doing these small details really helps bring out or highlight a certain aspect. Sometimes I'll see a doodle that doesn't really look or stand out like how I wanted it to, and I do a few small details around it or within it, and even just a little bit of texturing can bring it together. And I find sometimes there's a fine balance between doing too much, like I mentioned before, how it can sometimes wash out a aspect. So it's just kind of finding that and seeing what works. It's interesting too because the way I do my paintings, I don't really have a specific ending point in mind. So I truly just kind of go until I feel that it's done. And sometimes it can be a little bit random, but I do a kind of a layer of details throughout the whole painting. I know there's areas that need lining and need shading to create the depth. And if there's a whole section that doesn't have any white highlights or textures or little details, I know that I need to go and do that. But I always am careful not to do too much. Like I mentioned, I don't want it to be cluttered or take away from any of the other parts of the painting or the aspects that I want shown. But I don't really have an end in sight where it's like, oh, this is exactly where it's going to end once I'm done this part. I just kind of do it, and I take a step back and I see, sometimes I think I'll be done, then I see a section I want to do or some textures that I want to add, and I keep going. And sometimes I think that there's going to be more that I need to do, but then I look back and I realize there's only kind of one or two things. So it's kind of interesting how there's no specific endpoint. I just kind of go until I feel that it's done and it has a good balance of everything. At this point in the painting, I'm doing the finishing touches that will really bring it together. Like I mentioned in the other parts and before in this video, these small little details make a lot more difference than I always thought that they did. And it kind of fully completes it. Even just turning a shape into a very abstract like animal or face with just one little textured square triangle to make it an eye makes it a kind of completely different little section. So I'm going through and doing a lot of those little small details now. And I'm also taking the time to go through and seeing which lines in the details or doodles need extra shading. And all these small little things do add up just to kind of bring it together. Looking at the painting, I'm really happy with the middle aspect and that X that goes across. I feel like I got the dimension and kind of the 3D part of it. I feel like I did that well. And like I mentioned, I'm going to do that in the next painting that I do as well. There's always one or two things that I'm really excited to try in the upcoming painting that I'm doing. And it's kind of funny, each time I'm doing a painting, it's really fun and I'm excited to finish it to see how it looks. But I'm also really excited to finish it because I already have an idea about certain things or aspects or challenges that I want to do for the next one. At this point where I'm doing the finishing touches, I usually just have black and white, and I go through and do little textures like I'm doing now, and just a few extra things, mainly to contrast in the areas that need it. So if there's an area that has a few dark colors, I'll do white and just have a few little lines or shades. And when I have the black as well, that's a good time to go through and just, like I mentioned, do that extra shading. Now I'm officially done this painting. So I really like how it looks and how it came together. Let me know what you think. If there's anything you want me to try or anything you want to see in the next painting that I do. So thank you for watching, and I'll be posting a time lapse soon.